They didn't see a man. They saw someone beneath them. While he worked to keep his family alive, he was solving problems they couldn't even understand. And when he proved his brilliance, they arrested him.
At the heart of one of America's most prestigious universities, where billionaires sent their children to find themselves, and where brilliance was measured by pedigree, there was a man no one ever noticed. His name was Daniel. To most people, he wasn't Daniel. He was the janitor, the mop guy, man who cleaned toilets in a place where future billionaires discussed theory over espresso. Every morning before the sun rose, Daniel pushed his squeaking cart through marble corridors. His head stayed down, not because he was weak, but because experience had taught him that eye contact invited trouble. That morning, trouble came early. In the men's restroom of the engineering building, Daniel knelt beside a toilet stall, scrubbing the floor with quiet precision. "Yo, mop guy," a voice called out. Laughter echoed behind him. Daniel didn't turn. 3 students stood near the sinks. Expensive jackets, careless confidence, futures already paid for. One of them flicked an empty cigarette pack onto the freshly cleaned floor.
Yo, mop guy, you missed a stain. Or is that just how you live?
Another dropped the cigarette itself, crushing it with his shoe.
Mind picking that up? That's literally your dream job, right?
The laughter bounced off the tiled walls. Daniel paused for half a second. Then he reached out, picked up the cigarette and the packet, and dropped them into the trash. No sigh, no glare, not even resentment on his face. One of them laughed.
Wow, he's trained.
Another replied.
What do you expect? People like him don't have options.
As Daniel stood, another student deliberately spat water onto the floor.
Oops, clean that too. Tuition's expensive. We pay for perfection.
Daniel grabbed the mop again. To them, he was invisible. That afternoon in the main corridor, Daniel swept carefully along the edge of the hallway.
Excuse me, sir.
Daniel said quietly to a student blocking the path.
Just need to sweep there.
The student turned slowly, annoyed.
You serious? You are ordering me?
He took a step back, then deliberately tipped his open soda can onto the floor. The dark liquid spread across the polished tiles.
There, clean that. Don't look up.
Laughter erupted. A girl nearby pulled out her phone.
Wait, do it again. This is hilarious.
Another student walked by and casually tossed water from a bottle on Daniel.
Oops, slippery hands.
The laughter grew louder.
Bro, he doesn't even fight back.
Of course he doesn't! What's he gonna do? Apply here?
Just ignore him. He's not real people.
As they about to go, someone called out.
Hey, janitor, make sure you clean the board too. Wouldn't want dumb ideas sticking around.
Daniel remained silent. His shirt darkened. His hands trembled. Tears came out. But he stayed calm. He knelt down, soaked up the mess, and kept working. No protest, no anger, just silence. What those rich kids doesn't know that he was not just a mop guy, but a genius. And soon he will teach all of them a big lesson. Daniel's silence wasn't weakness. It was survival. He grew up in a small, broken apartment where fear was constant and money was never enough. His father drank heavily and often turned violent. Daniel learned early that staying quiet was safer than speaking up. Then cancer came. His father died slowly, not in a hospital, but at home, because care cost more than they could ever afford. After that, everything fell on Daniel. His mother became chronically ill, confined to bed most days. His little sister, paralyzed since birth, needed constant care. Someone had to earn. Daniel dropped out of school without hesitation. He worked whatever jobs he could find until he became a janitor. It wasn't a dream, but it kept food on the table and medicine within reach. Yet one thing never left him: math. He studied from discarded books, library leftovers, and pages pulled from trash bins, completely self-taught. Late nights, no teachers, no recognition, and soon that mind would be tested. The applied mathematics wing was Daniel's most favorite place to clean, because he can also listen the lectures through the window. That afternoon, as Daniel pushed his cart down the corridor, voices drifted out from one of the classrooms. He looked through the window. Complex equations covered on big boards from edge to edge. Inside, a gray-haired professor stood. He was one of the most respected applied mathematicians in the country. Published, awarded, invited to speak at conferences most people only read about. And yet, he looked frustrated. "I'll be honest with you," the professor said to the class. "I've been working on this problem for over 20 years. I didn't put this problem up here because I expect you to solve it. I put it up here because some of you have started confusing privilege with intelligence." The room went quiet. "This equation connects non-linear dynamics with orbital instability," he continued. "It has applications in aerospace engineering, deep space navigation, and yes, NASA." That word landed hard. "If anyone here can solve it by the end of the semester," the professor added, "you'll receive a full academic scholarship and a guaranteed internship with NASA." One of them, the top-ranked student in the program, raised his hand. "Sir," he said confidently, "with respect, this problem is impossible. If you couldn't solve it in 20 years, no one here can." The professor didn't argue. He simply nodded. "That's what I believe too." Daniel stood frozen outside the window. Every symbol on the board burned into his memory. The structure, the symmetry. One student saw him.
Hey, mop guy, what are looking? You think you even understands what we study here? We pay more in tuition than you make in a year. That toilet probably has a better future than you.
Daniel swallowed hard but didn't speak, because these are common for him. He was only thinking about the equation. It was his dream to go NASA. For most students, it was a resume boost, although they can't make it. For Daniel, it was money for mother's medicine, a future for his sister, a doorway. For the first time in his life, he wasn't cleaning up after other people. He was reaching for a future. From there, he straight went to University Library, a place where he spends most of the time after shifts, every day. Not at the tables where students argued over problem sets, but in bathrooms, so no one could mock. He picked some math books and slipped into the restroom. He flips pages quietly, analyzing the proofs before anyone could ask why a janitor was there so long. When footsteps approached, he froze, heart pounding, until silence returned. He practiced on the mirror in the maintenance workshop, writing equations in reverse, erasing them with his sleeve, rewriting them again and again until the logic burned itself into his mind. At night, he went back home. Daniel fed his sister, helped his mother with her medication, and cooked dinner with one hand, while his mind raced through formulas with the other. When the apartment finally fell silent, he went to the bathroom mirror. Every solution collapsed halfway through. Daniel slammed the marker down more than once, pressing his forehead against the glass, breath shaking. It refused to give in. He slept in fragments, waking suddenly with new ideas, rushing back to the mirror before they slipped away, because that equation wasn't just math. It was medicine. It was rent. 2 days passed. Daniel didn't show up for work. On the third night, as rain tapped against the window, something shifted. A pattern he hadn't seen before revealed itself. Subtle, elegant, devastatingly simple. He did it. But before hope could settle in, Daniel's phone vibrated. A voicemail from campus facilities. "You missed 2 shifts. Don't bother coming back." He had solved the problem and lost his job. Now the board at the university was still blank, and he can't enter there to show his proofs. But he took a bold decision. Daniel stood outside the university gates long after midnight, the campus unrecognizable without students and noise. The buildings that had mocked him by day now loomed in silence. In his pocket was the extra key. Facilities had given it to him months ago, back when he was trusted enough to clean after hours. They hadn't asked for it back. Daniel hesitated. Walking away would be easy. Walking in would change everything. So he stepped inside. The hallway lights buzzed softly as Daniel moved through the building, his footsteps echoing too loudly in his ears. He reached the classroom. The board was clean. Daniel picked up a piece of chalk and began to write. His hands moved faster than his fear. Line after line filled the board, then the next, then the third. Proofs stacked neatly, each step feeding the next. What had taken him days to see now felt inevitable. When he finished, Daniel stepped back. The equation was complete. For the first time in his life, he smiled. And then a voice shattered the silence. "Hey!" Daniel spun around. A security guard stood in the doorway, hand on his radio. "What are you doing in here?" Daniel's words tangled in his throat. I needed to write something." The guard advanced, eyes narrowing. "You don't belong here." Within minutes, flashing lights cut through the darkness. Campus police arrived. Questions were asked, accusations thrown. "Breaking and entering, trespassing, attempted theft." Daniel tried to explain. "It's an equation," he said desperately. "I solved it. Please, just look at the board." No one did. Handcuffs clicked shut around his wrists. As Daniel was led away, he turned his head one last time toward the classroom. 3 boards, filled with answers, waiting for someone who would believe him. That night, Daniel sat alone in a holding cell, staring at his hands. He had solved the impossible, and for it, he had been locked away. The next morning, Professor walked in, already mid-thought. He asked students. Anyone started to understand the question? The topper replied, "Sir, I have checked Google, every books. There is no such question. The question is wrong." Professor was about to laugh. Then he turned toward the board and stopped. The room fell silent. Every inch of the whiteboards was covered. A complete, structured, mathematically sound solution. The professor stepped closer, eyes scanning each line.
"It's impossible. It's genius," he whispered. "For 20 years I chased this equation. Conferences, collaborations, sleepless nights. And yet someone did it in only 2 days."
He turned slowly to the class.
"Which one of you did this?"
No one spoke. The top student frowned.
Sir, that wasn't there yesterday.
The professor's jaw tightened. He checked the timestamps on the board camera, and then the footage played. A man entered the room late at night, marker in hand, focused, calm. Security manager said it's Daniel, the janitor, and they sent him jail last night. The professor couldn't believe. The janitor they all ignored was a genius. Professor called at police station, and Daniel was released. When the professor entered the holding area, Daniel stood instinctively, ready to apologize, ready to explain himself for the 100th time. But the professor didn't accuse him. He stared at Daniel like he was seeing a genius being for the first time.
"You solved it. You are the next Ramanujan."
Daniel nodded.
I just wanted a chance to study.
The professor swallowed hard. Within days, Daniel was reinstated. This time, as a student. A full scholarship, a stipend to support his family, medical care arranged for his mother, physical therapy funded for his sister. Years later, Daniel stood inside a NASA research facility, badge clipped to his jacket. He had cleaned toilets in silence. He had studied in shadows. And when the world finally looked back, it realized it had been wrong all along. The greatest minds aren't always found in classrooms. Sometimes they're the ones cleaning them. There are so many Daniels in this world, brilliant minds hidden behind struggle. If you ever meet someone like that, don't judge them. Help them. A dream might be fighting to survive behind those tired eyes. Being poor isn't a crime, but wasting someone's talent is. If this story touched you, like, share, and comment. And remember, real wealth isn't money. It's opportunity.